Thank you, Aaron. It's really great to have you joining us for another year for the Smile Fall Brunch. I also want to thank our brunch ambassadors, our brunch committee, our board, our staff, our volunteers, and of course the amazing youth, the people that we do this work for every day. So my name is Sultan Shakir, and I'm the Executive Director of SMYAL. I'll also be joined by our Director of Housing and Clinical Services, Jorge Membreno, and our amazing Programs Director, Adelphi Johnson, to talk a little bit more about the work that we do here at SMYAL. And so for the past 36 years, SMYAL has worked to support and empower young people in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And with everything being virtual, it's increasingly national. We've had youth from around the country come to our Rise Up Activist Camp. We've had youth reach out to resources about how they can access mental health supports. And we could not do that work without your support. And so while things are virtual this year, we're still doing the deep dive to make sure that we're supporting young people, meeting their needs, and helping to develop young leaders. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Jorge to talk more about his work.
Thank you, Sultan, very much. I'm the Director of Youth Housing and Clinical Services, and in that capacity, I get to work with our 26 youth at our 2 youth houses. Now, we've had to do a lot of adapting within this pandemic, and that meant moving through phases just like we've done here in DC. So for us, phase 1 was all about the basics. It was all about making sure our youth had access to all the food benefits they needed, making sure that they had access to cleaning supplies and PPEs. And then from there, moving into phase 2. And phase 2 is all about just benefits, making sure that our youth could access pandemic unemployment assistance, unemployment insurance, and our COVID relief fund. Our COVID Relief Fund has supported youth in our programs and outside of our programs. That means any youth who were at risk of experiencing homelessness, were able to receive a direct cash benefit, which has supported them paying for phone bills, rent, utilities, food, anything and everything they needed so that they wouldn't be experiencing homelessness and can receive some more support. And that has also led to a pathway of other referral services that we've been able to provide. Now, phase 3 has been trickier, right? It's all about adapting. We know that the mental health work has changed. We live right now in what feels like a global, not just pandemic, but a global trauma for a lot of our youth. And so the mental health work has become a little more intensive. And we know that the employment piece as well. The employment piece has had to change, and the way we think about paths to independence has changed. So traditionally, we could fit our youth into a model of where they are getting employment and being able to save. But what if some of those things are limited? We move from opportunities to choices to prosperity, but all of a sudden the opportunities and the choices are going away and have started to come back a little bit, but just not enough. So we've had to think about that differently. We're thinking about entrepreneurship programs. To give you an example, one of our youth was able to take her bartending license that she got right before the pandemic and create it into her own business because that was the path that she found as success for her. And so we're thinking about that for the rest of our youth of what ideas can you turn from an idea into an action into prosperity for you. And so that's the way that we have continued to operate at SMYAL. We give much because much is needed, and I'm just so incredibly proud of our very dedicated staff. And for us, we've been at work and in the work hasn't changed, just we wear masks now, but we will continue to be here. So I just want to thank all of you for your support and for helping create opportunities for our youth, because we know that we couldn't do it without you. And with that, I'd like to introduce our powerhouse of a Director of Programs, Adelphi Johnson.
Thank you, Jorge, for such a warm introduction. SMYAL has always been committed to supporting queer and trans youth. And even during these critical times, it is even more important that we continue the work that we have started to support our young people. That is one of the reasons why we moved all of our programs to a virtual platform. Trainings, drop-in center programs, and even Rise Up, which formerly was our activist camp. We had the opportunity to engage over 75 youth, not just from the DMV, but all across the nation, in supporting young people and being able to expand their advocacy skills and organizing in their communities. But guess what? It did not stop there. Additionally, we expanded our Little Smiles program, and we now meet bi-weekly to really engage and support our young people under the age of 13. SMYAL is continuing to do the work, and it's because of persons like you that we're able to do this work. This year, we were able to provide our 35th Youth Leadership Awardee with supports as they're continuing their education. These awards are critical, especially during these times when we need to ensure that our young people are supported in their leadership and their advocacy efforts. In times like these, now more than ever, we have to ensure that we are supporting our youth so that they can not only be the change for tomorrow, but that they can be the change for today.